Hello, welcome back. So now in this part, we will discuss the process used for iron and steel making. Now, before considering iron making, we will understand the concept behind this as the important iron ores are which are commonly used for the manufacturing process are basically hematite, lignite, magnetite, pyrite, and siderite. So basically, this iron production is a continuous process and consists of chemically reducing iron ores. Well, iron ores are basically the compounds of iron with non-metallic elements, and they contain impurities such as carbon, manganese, phosphorus, silicon, and sulfur. And in the blast furnace, they are being removed or added using the coke and crushed limestone. The resulting material, which I mean, the material that we get is basically the cast iron, and this cast iron contains carbon, sulfur, and phosphorus. So basically, this principle of making iron has not changed from the past 2000 years. This is the same principle which is being followed in earlier period, and even nowadays we follow the same principle. However, the actual techniques employed for the scale of production have changed, as I have discussed in the previous part. So nowadays, a blast furnace operates continuously over a certain period and produce tons of steel every 24 hours. Steel making, basically, there are many processes exist for the production of steel. The oldest of these is the open hearth process, as I have mentioned in the previous part, along with the Bessemer process. Since this process was slow and very uneconomical, it has been replaced by the basic oxygen steel making process and the electric arc method. So steel making is basically a batch process. It is basically a batch process, and it involves reducing the impurities or some other elements such as excess carbon or sulfur and phosphorus levels. And to some extent, we can add as per requirement the other additives such as manganese, chromium, nickel, or vanadium. So nowadays, the steel manufacturing is done in the plant called integrated steel plants. So now I will show you the process, a brief process of making of steel, and using the flow chart and using the diagram. So if I talk about the integrated steel plant, today most of the structural steel is made in these integrated steel plants using the BOS process. Now BOS is a basic oxygen steel process. It is being shown in the figure. Here you can see, there you can see the basic oxygen process. So the main steps which are being involved in the manufacturing process are melting. First process is the melting. Now in the melting process, what we do, uh, basically the raw materials such as iron ore, coks, and limestone, pellets, sintered ore, these are being charged in the furnace, in the blast furnace. And in the blast furnace, hot air is pumped to melt the iron and the other material which is being charged along with them at a temperature of around 1600 degrees Celsius. So At this temperature, the material is melt. Now the molten material, if it is cooled and solidified, it will be known as pig iron or simply iron. So the difference between iron and steel, now you will understand what is the difference now between the steel and iron. Iron is basically the molten material which we get from the blast furnace. Now if we want to convert this iron into a steel, what we have to do is we have to induce or reduce the carbon content in a controlled manner. Now, and this process is called refine process. So now if we want to refine the pig iron, then the refined iron will become the steel. So in refining process, the excess carbon and other unwanted impurities, they are removed, and the slag, which is basically the residual material. So there you can see the material is being charged within the blast furnace, and blast at this temperature, and at the temperature of 1600 degrees Celsius, the metal is melted. Then the melted metal is basically induced in this BOS furnace, and there you can see in the BOS furnace, what is happening is the oxygen is induced in the melted iron ore, and the impurities are basically oxidized using the oxygen that is being induced in the basic oxygen furnace, and the pure iron along with some content of carbon is basically removed from for the casting. The next process after the BOS is basically the casting. So what happens is, now as in case of basic oxygen furnace, the iron or steel is basically in the liquid form, and this liquid steel is taken out of the bottom of this furnace, and it is being put on the continuous it is being put as a continuous ribbon of the steel. There you can see it is being removed in this, and this red portion is basically the molten or liquid steel, and now it is being going down as a ribbon, as in the ribbon form, and this ribbon form is cut and converted into other form of steel, and they are semi cooled, like in the form of billet, in the form of bloom, in the form of slab. And for further process, these semi cooled products are rolled. So I will show you the photos of this in detail. So this method is called continuous casting, and in the old method, what is being done was, as in case you can see, the iron is going continuously down, and they are being converted into billet, bloom, and slab. In the old process, it was not continuous process. It was for a certain period, and iron was liquid iron was converted into some blocks. Now those blocks are known as ingots. So I will show you that in using the photo. So there you can see this is the BOS, and it is from this the liquid steel is being removed in this part, and this part is being put here, and now you can see this is the continuous process. The steel, the molten steel, is coming like a ribbon. Now these ribbon are further cut into a small pieces. Now those small pieces can be billet, loom, or slabs. Here in this photo you can see this is the molten steel, and this is the continuous caster. I mean the continuous ribbon of the liquid steel, which is being converted into bloom, billets, or in the form of slabs. There you can see the steel is converted into a coil box, or in this case you can see the continuous steel is in the form of bar. So this is the process of steel making that I have described briefly. Here you can see the steel making process in the form of flow chart. So steel making can be done using the old method. In the old method, there is no continuous casting. Steel making is done for a certain period, and in case of continuous casting, the blast furnace runs for a very long time, say in case of years. So in this, the steel production is continuous. So here you can see in the old process, ingot molds were provided to reserve the cooled product, and then they were sent in the mill, and then they were sent for the rolling process. Now I will describe that rolling process in the next slide. Here you can see it is basically a continuous casting machine which provides the steel continuously, and they are converted into billets, slabs, looms, and they further uh, used for various different products of the steel. Now next process after the casting, once we get the bloom or billets, then the next process is called rolling, or one can say hot rolling. So this in the hot rolling, what happens is these billets, now these are the billets, they are basically the semi-finished products. Now these semi-finished products are converted into a desirable steel sections using the rolling sections. So they are basically heated at 1200 degrees Celsius, and then now at this temperature, why we are heating? Because to make them malleable. Malleable is basically the property of steel. Using that, it can be converted into a very thin sheets or a thin sections. So at this temperature, they are being rolled into a finished product such as plates, structural section, and bars and strips. So I will show you that finished products, steel sections. So there you can see the rolling process. Now here you can see using the billet and using the roller, they are being converted into I sections. So the greater the reduction in the size, the greater the work hardening. I mean, we have to work more, which produces varying properties in our sections. So now, because if there is unequal cooling, there may be some residual stresses also, which may affect the sections, the finished products like this in the later part also. So we, in the design problem, we also consider that residual stress condition, and that is why we provide some safety factor. So now in this case, you can see the different semi products are converted into finished products. So slab, there you can see this slab is a semi-finished products, bloom, billets, and now they are being converted using the roller into different sections. Like using the slab, you can convert this slab into a pipe. This bloom can be converted into I sections, or this billet can be converted into a further sections. So now coming on to the steel production. Now nowadays in the world, uh, this graph shows that the steel production of the world and the China. Now there you can see China alone China alone produces 50% of the total steel produced by the world. So this data I have taken from the World Steel, this website. So in this data, it is being shown that the total production of the steel in the world, 50% share is for the China. So in that term, we can say China is the largest producer of the steel. Now in the second position, there is the position of India came. But the difference between the production of China and the India is very huge. In the current scenario, India is basically the second largest steel producer after the China. And if we talk about the per capita finished steel consumption in India, then you can see in India it is 73 kg per capita. I mean per person. We can say that only 73 kg steel is being consumed. While in case of China, you can see 224.5 kg steel is being consumed per person in the China. So now you can see technically we are way behind for the full exploitation of the steel production. So let us see, this will improve in the upcoming years. Okay, so in the next part, we will discuss a little about microstructure of the steel. Thank you.